What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Beyond the Bench podcast. We're here for week 2 of our fantasy recap show. Um, Quite the interesting week this week. What you say, Nick?
I am not going to say anything. I think you have something to say that you want to get off your chest.
Yeah, so Nick got his first win this week. We're so happy about that. So if you remember from last week, I lost on the DJ Moore lateral fumble, lost by 1 point. You might think it can't get any worse than that. It can. How, as an NFL, okay, so I lost by 1 point again. And this time it was because Chase McLaughlin had 1 point because he missed his only field goal he attempted the whole game. It was like 43 yards or something. How did an NFL kicker in a dome and you miss your one field goal? The one field goal. If he didn't even take the field goal, I would have won because he had 2 extra points. But no, you get what? You should have seen the text I was sending to Nick last night. I was furious.
I had an early class this morning, and I wake up to a string of all caps messages.
It's like I can't even catch a break here. My wide receivers suck. Oh my god.
They don't suck. Okay, the only one that really is bad is DJ Moore. The other ones
And he
are
had the most
all
points
serviceable.
He had the most points of the two of them this week. So
This week, but
that was a golf ball. Just gonna leave that there. As you can tell, I'm very frustrated.
yes, his stressed golf ball out.
No, Marvin Harrison.
Hold on. Before we overreact, because if this was me, I would be doing the same thing as you right now. But it's better to start 0-2 right now and then go on a massive winning streak and get playoffs and everything than lose to a DJ Moore lateral in the playoffs. I think I would crash out if that happened to me.
So I'm not starting DJ Moore anymore. We're gonna say that. I'm starting Bill. Because Keenan or Deebo Samuel is not my wide receiver too. I'm gonna stick it out with Marv. He had a good week 1.
I think Marv's
Cardinals didn't really throw this past week, even though they scored 27 points. So I'm just gonna let that be for now. Marv's a good talent. I'm gonna leave him there. Keenan Allen, I think you should start him every week at this point.
I think honestly, all of the Chargers wide receivers.
I agree, and I know Ladd isn't looking great, but he has a lot of competition. I know. He has a lot of competition. I think he's going to be fine.
But if you also remember in the beginning of last year, the same thing happened. He had the volume. He just wasn't getting the yards and touchdowns.
They're all getting volume.
They're all getting volume. I think Ladd and Quentin Johnston have pretty much the same amount of targets throughout 2 weeks.
I believe so.
Yeah, they have 14 targets. It's averaging 7 targets a game.
And Keenan Allen has 17 targets.
Yeah.
Honestly, all the Chargers receivers are looking good. I'd love that. Honestly, I'm a big Justin Herbert guy. Yeah, I think we should. I don't even know. I'm looking at Chase McLaughlin.
Everybody watching, and myself included, will all pray for you this week. Don't worry.
Thanks. Oh no, you won't. You play me.
Oh, I will not be praying for you. So
but
everybody else will.
It's the Beyond the Bench.
I was just gonna say the Beyond the Bench rivalry here.
It's the Beyond the Bench Bowl this week, and
we should make a trophy.
We should. I think you beat me both times last year, so I got to get my get back.
I went 13-1, so probably.
And I only had 3 wins, so I can't imagine your one loss. I think your one loss was to Colin, because that's usually how that works.
Because that's usually Colin is Christian's brother. For anybody who doesn't know,
he was on the podcast last year.
He was on the podcast. He is my me and him played week 1. There's literally never a blowout. It is either a heartbreaking loss by less than a point.
Colin is one of the best fantasy players I've ever seen.
Colin is one of the best fantasy drafters.
Yeah.
He drafts ridiculously well. He's not very active in the waiver wire, though.
No, he's not, but he just made a trade today, actually. Very rarely see Colin make a trade.
Yeah.
But you know what? He is one of 3 teams that are undefeated, and he has scored 255 points this season. So, you know what? And it's not, his matchups are close. He's a good player. Good.
I dropped 140 this week. I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and plus minus. My point differential is -3. My games, I don't want to talk about my team anymore. Let's get into the waiver wire picks this week because Lord knows I need them. I'm gonna talk about actually the 2 claims that I have in right now because I think I'm ahead of Nick anyway. So
you are, and I'm really hoping you don't screw me right now because I have one right now.
So I'm honestly I'm probably not. I'm dropping Justin Fields for Daniel Jones, and I'm gonna start Daniel Jones this week over Dak Prescott. And I said this last week on the podcast. I picked up Calvin Austin, and then in a Brock Bowers panic, I dropped him and picked up because he was questionable. So he was questionable in a 10 o'clock Monday night game. So I figured.
Wait, hold on. You dropped Brock Bowers?
No.
Oh, I was going to say.
I dropped Calvin Austin to pick up the Raiders' backup, Michael Mayer,
okay. And then
in case Brock Bowers played. So now I'm just redropping Michael Mayer for Calvin Austin. That's really all I'm doing this week. But there are some other really good waiver wire picks I want to talk about that. Honestly, so the first 2, I don't know if you have them on their list because neither of them are free agents in our league, but in most leagues they are. It's just that some people in our league are insane. So the first one I have is Wan'Dale Robinson, who was the wide receiver 7. Just saying.
Yeah, I
top 6 in the NFL in yards. I believe he's number 6. The only reason he's taken in our league is because Nicola, who we also had on the podcast, takes him every single year without fail.
It is like religious. Like he will always draft him.
So anyone else out there, Wan'Dale Robinson's a great pickup. Russell Wilson seems to love to throw to him.
Mm-hmm.
How many? Let's see. I'm curious how many targets he has in his first. It's a lot. I can tell you that much. Wan'Dale Robinson has 14 receptions and
14
a lot of targets.
And
18 targets.
18 targets and 200 yards across 2 games.
Yeah. So Wan'Dale Robinson's he's a reception machine. He's honestly a good flex in any PPR league.
I agree.
Was he on your list?
He was not.
Okay.
He was not. My guy I'm picking up is Elik Ayumanor.
He looked good this week.
He looked very good this week, and I think that Cam Ward if anybody did not see that touchdown.
That was insane.
Touchdown of the week. He's scrambling, and a lot of NFL coaches say, "Do not." What?
Malik Neighbors had touchdown of the week.
Okay.
Saying.
No. Touchdown pass. Bro, Russ just threw it deep, and Neighbors went.
No. All right. You know what? We're going to take a break on Elik Ayumanor for a second. That was the most perfectly placed ball I have ever seen.
It was the most perfectly placed ball.
The defender had his
Russ was
hand.
playing like it was 2013.
He had his hand over Malik Neighbors' eyes, and it just fell perfectly right into his hands. That was the throw of the week.
I think we could make that catch.
Yeah, it was just perfectly placed.
It was falling.
Just had to place your hands out. All right. Cam Ward got second best throw of the week. I'll give him that.
Top 3. Top 3 touchdown pass. Okay.
We'll give him that.
Top 3 touchdown pass. He scrambled crossbody, other side of the end zone.
Beautiful pass.
Ayumanor catches it beautifully. He's definitely starting to form a rookie connection with Cam Ward. They were both drafted this year, and he's been averaging like around 6 to 7 targets per game.
Yeah, so
with pretty good production. So
I would say I just noticed that. So Cam Ward did not have a good game in his first week.
No.
Ayumanor, however you say it, had 7 targets still. He just had 2 catches.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly he's going to be Cam Ward's favorite target. Well,
I wouldn't say favorite target. I would still say Calvin Ridley is the favorite.
But I don't know how many targets Ridley had this week.
Ridley had Ridley's averaging 7, so they have roughly.
So they have basically the same.
They have basically the same, but I'm saying Ridley's the favorite just because he has that veteran presence to lead.
Oh, absolutely, but you can't discredit what
you can't.
Share that he's getting.
I always think a 2 wide receiver system is better than a 1 wide receiver system.
Absolutely, that's why I'm picking up Calvin Austin.
Yeah, 100%. My next guy, he may have been dropped in a lot of leagues week 1. I don't really. I'm not too. Maybe you can correct me on the percentage. I'm not sure how many leagues he's available in. But Rachaad White.
Not a lot. I'll check her now on ESPN, but I actually he's not on my list, but I completely agree.
People counted him off because of Bucky Irving. He's not available in every league, so just take this into account.
He's rostered in 47% of leagues, which is down 7%, between week 1 and week 2.
Yeah, so I did know that there was a drop. I didn't know how much, but week 1 he had a snap count of only 2. That's horrible. So I can see why people dropped him. Week 2 that jumped up to 10. 10 targets 10 carries isn't great for a running back. However, he had great production with those carries. He averaged 6.5 yards a carry and a touchdown. So if Rachaad White can get it done on the ground, I still think that there is a little bit of wiggle room for you to both utilize Rachaad White and Bucky Irving without having to really worry about points. Because he did, if you look at the tape, Rachaad White did get most of the red zone touches at the end zone. That's why he did get the touchdown. So Bucky Irving, I think, is going to fall into a similar pattern as last year, where he's not solely a receiving back, but that's his forte.
Yeah. So on my list, I also have another running back on here, Bishal Tutin. Mm-hmm. I loved him going into the year. Not enough to draft him, but I did like him going into the year. He's rostered in 40% of leagues. He looked really good this week with blanking on his name, Tank Bigsby gone. Mm-hmm. He really took almost all of Bigsby's carries. And he ended up with a touchdown. He had 2 receptions. He didn't even have a target in week 1, and he caught both passes that were thrown to him this week. So obviously that's a good thing. He had the receiving touchdown. And he's looking like he's going to be a very highly utilized second running back in Jacksonville.
I agree.
So I'd pick him up in case.
He's also a buy low candidate, which we'll get to later, if he's rostered. But he's definitely a running back that I would stash for the rest of the season.
I agree, because we've seen Travis Etienne fall off before. Mm-hmm. So it's a good guy to stash on your bench if you have the extra room.
I have 2 more quick guys. I'm not going to go really into them, but my first guy, wide receiver, is Rashid Shaheed. I don't understand how. This guy is always like the most relevant and irrelevant player on the waiver wire every single week of every single year. So I don't understand how it happens. But this year I feel is going to be a little different. He's definitely taken in the role as the TD red zone threat and the deep ball target. He's averaging 7 targets a game. And that's just decent production if you need, a stash or even just a second flex if you have flex leagues.
As we know every year, I don't remember if I said this last week or not. I feel like every season Chris Olave inevitably gets concussed. So he's a good guy to have. Shaheed got injured last year, which just left the Saints with nothing. But if he stays healthy this year and Chris Olave, God forbid, gets hurt, he's a good guy to have. On mine, I already touched on him a little bit. It's Daniel Jones. He's the number 2 quarterback in fantasy. He is second in the NFL in passing yards. I'm happy for him. Happy for the kid.
I'm happy for him too. Crazy what happens when you actually have a decent offensive line, right? Ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm happy for him. And they don't play a good team this week, if I'm not mistaken. I'm definitely starting him this week. They play the Titans. Yeah, I will absolutely be starting Daniel Jones against Nick this week over Dak Prescott, who's projected almost the same amount of points as Jones.
I will get to Dak Prescott later, actually. But my last waiver wire. Were you still talking?
No. Okay. I'm just looking at Dak Prescott.
My last waiver wire ad is, again, not someone who's going to be available in a lot of leagues, but again, if you're still looking for a tight end after some injuries, Dalton Kincaid. Tight end 10 after week 2. Josh Allen said this himself. He loves Kincaid. He loves him in mid-range and short-range targets. He eats those up. So if you need just a fringe tight end for a week, Kincaid's your guy.
So I also have a tight end on here. This, in my opinion, maybe not this week, maybe next week, is the best waiver wire pickup you can get. I'm not going to do it because I have Brock Bowers. But Isaiah Likely. Go get him because Mark Andrews has looked awful.
Awful.
And
he
when
dropped
Isaiah
the pass
Likely
in the end zone again.
And when he's questionable this week. So honestly, go get him this week. He's rostered in 6% of ESPN leagues. Get him now before he is gone because Mark Andrews has looked awful. And last year when Mark Andrews was awful, Isaiah Likely was not. And I think it's going to be the same situation this year, which also goes for Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is going to lose targets, I think, when Likely comes back. Lamar Jackson loves Isaiah Likely, and I think you got to pick him up sooner rather than later, especially if you are weak in the tight end position. If you're starting, if you got a fringe star, like let's say, like last week we were talking about Juwan Johnson. If Juwan Johnson is one of your starters, I'd get Isaiah Likely because he's one of those guys that I think is going to have a really good season once he's healthy.
I agree.
Yeah, that's it for my waiver wires. Do you have anyone else?
No, I'm good. Do you want to, let's move to buy low?
Yeah, I got some good ones this week.
So do I. So I'm not going to lie. The rest of my lists for buy low, sell high matchups featured are on my team. That's not me being biased. That's just when I did my research. Those are the guys that had the biggest stat
they're
increases.
all on your team?
Not all, okay. But some of them are. Okay. So my buy lows are McLaurin, obviously, Drake London, as I said to you earlier today.
Yep.
And Calvin Ridley.
Okay, so wait, Terry McLaurin and Drake London.
Yes.
Okay, they're both on mine too. So we'll have a let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Let's have a little discussion. All right. So McLaurin target share jumped from 14% in week 1 to 26% in week 2. That is a massive increase.
Just going to keep going up, which is why I want to trade Deebo Samuel.
I would also advise that.
Who, I don't know, he's probably on yours too. You got to sell him high. He's on mine as well.
He's on mine, yeah.
Do it sooner rather than later. I'm looking to do that this week, if I'm being completely honest. Try to get a better wide receiver for him.
Terry McLaurin is a dog. He's QB proof. He missed training camp. I get why he's a little bit slow, but if you, during the game yesterday, or not yesterday, this week, he looked good. He was hitting routes fast. He was breaking open. He looked good, and that's why Daniels was looking at him a lot more. I feel like, especially with the injury to Eckler, not a significant amount, but Eckler was a pass catching back. So Eckler was taking, inevitably, some targets away from Terry McLaurin. I think Bill is not going to be that same criteria of pass catching back, so he's going to get fed.
I agree. I'm not going to talk about him too much because he's rostered, and obviously he's rostered, but people that have him, Bill, are not going to want to trade him because if you have Bill, you have him for a reason. But if you're able to buy low on Bill, do it. He's the clear-cut RB1 at this point.
It's going to be a lot harder after that Eckler injury, but...
Yeah. But, yeah, so Terry McLaurin I completely agree with. I want to trade Deebo myself. Maybe for Drake London, who's another guy you might want to buy low. Drake London does not look great. But I think he's getting the target share.
He's 100% getting the target shares.
It's just, I think
15 targets in week 1.
I think this happened last year too. He just takes a couple weeks to.
It's also due to QB play, and I will say this: he's a great buy low candidate this week specifically, based off of how bad the Falcons-Viking game was. Both offenses were completely stagnant.
That game was putting me to sleep.
I know. So if that is not a true record of how Drake London will be for the rest of the season. That is an anomaly.
Yep. And they play the Panthers this week, so he's gonna. I think
definitely try to get him.
I think this is his breakout week. I think you got to get him this week because when he has the great game against the Panthers, you're not going to be able to get him.
I agree.
In our league, you're not going to be able to get him either way because my friend Ronan is a USC fan, loves Drake London, will never trade him. So, yeah. But in any other league, go grab him.
Do you have a third or?
I have 2 more, actually.
Okay.
So one is Cam Scatterbo.
My goat.
He looks like he's going to be the running back 1 in the offense with Tyron Tracy being the pass catching back. He looked great this week. I saw someone say this on Twitter. He plays like he wants severe CTE for the rest of his life. He is a dog, and I love having him on my team.
I could not agree more, honestly.
He leads with his head and puts his hands at his side. He wants
he thrives off that.
There's something missing in there, but he's great.
100%.
Love the guy. Oh my God. I'm so happy he's on the team. I think he's rostered in a lot of leagues, so go pick him up. Go grab him. I don't think it'll take much to trade for him either, which is a good thing.
A lot of people view him as like a fringe flex, if not even that.
The only thing with our league is that we have a lot of Giants fans that understand who he is.
Not even understand who are biased towards Giants.
Yeah. And then my last guy, I didn't even think about him until last night, till my roommate Charlie showed me this video. And I don't know if anyone has seen it. I'm going to send it to Nick when we're done. It is so funny. It's like this grandma, and she talking about Tony Pollard, and she's like, Tony Pollard. He's the man. He can do it anytime. It's one of the great.
Wait, I think I did see that.
If you've never seen the video, just go look it up. It's one of the greatest videos I've ever seen. It got me thinking. Tony Pollard is a good running back on a team that has a rookie quarterback that is going to run the ball a lot. I think he had 18 carries this week, just not a lot of yards. But they played the Rams, who have good defense. He had 20 carries this week, 18 last week, against two of, I would say, top 10 defenses in the NFL.
Getting absolutely fed.
So I would absolutely try to get Tony Pollard while you can. I might do that. Colin has him. Hard to trade with, but I'm still going to try. But I think Tony Pollard's a good pickup.
That's a very good pickup.
Any running back that's getting 20 carries a game is a good pickup.
He should be on your team.
Yeah, I love Tony Pollard.
My last guy for buy low is Calvin Ridley. I touched on him a little earlier. Yeah. He's 30 years old. He's a little bit older, but especially in the minds of a rookie, you want a veteran presence in the wide receiver room. You want somebody that you can look downfield and he'll be open. He's had the target share. He had 8 targets first game, 6 targets the second game. That is not incredible, but it's also not bad. I think as the season goes on and Cam Ward gets more comfortable in the offense, gets more comfortable, reading defenses, I think Calvin Ridley is going to get fed. And what also helps Calvin Ridley's case for buy low is that the box scores haven't been that good, but the stats have. He's played against arguably two of the best defenses in the
NFL
as
Tony Pollard.
Now. Same as Tony Pollard. I mean, he played against the Broncos
and the Rams.
And the Rams. And the Rams surprisingly have not surprisingly, but
they have the defensive rookie of the year, if I'm not mistaken. Jared Verse won defensive rookie of the year.
Dude, amazing.
And yeah, I was gonna say he's getting the targets like we were talking about before. It's only a matter of time before
the production starts.
Yeah.
Let's move on to sell high. So,
we already talked about Debo. We already talked about Debo.
We already talked about Debo. You get rid of Debo. Get rid of Debo.
I'm trying. Don't you worry.
It breaks my heart, and I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again. I told everybody to wait on James Conner. It was a good decision. Thank you. I can hear the applause. His box score was pretty good. I think 11 or 12 points, not bad.
He had a touchdown. I think
he did have a touchdown. He has a touchdown in both weeks. The thing is with these touchdowns, without these touchdowns, he's virtually getting no points.
Correct. I hate those kinds of players.
I know. So, and it's sad. I love James Conner his entire career. He's getting a little older. He did have a bell cow role, and now Trey Benson is creeping.
Trey Benson's he's getting those carries.
He is. So definitely try to get James Conner. Or try to sell James Conner.
Yeah. So I have another running back on here. I don't know if you have him. He's another one of those touchdown running backs. I got J.K. Dobbins, who looked phenomenal last year on the Chargers. I think that the Broncos are using him a lot to ease R.J. Harvey into the starting role. Because Dobbins, a lot of running backs are like this. Dobbins specifically, because I don't think he catches the ball too much. No, he had 2 catches and then 1 catch. He had a lot of attempts. He had 16 to 14. But if he didn't have a touchdown in both games, he would have less than 10 points in each game.
I agree.
And
Definitely.
it was against the Titans, and I mean the Colts have a decent defense. The Titans don't have a good defense, and he still only had 15 points. So I'd trade him while he's still getting these 15 points before he starts to fall off or get hurt, because we all know that J.K. Dobbins is very injury prone.
Very injury prone.
And he stayed healthy for most of last year, which means I hope not. I don't even have him. I just never would wish an injury on anyone, but I think he's due, unfortunately.
Yeah. My other guys, one of these running backs, we touched on one earlier, Travis Etienne. Tootin, like, I think he's a guy that people knew going into the drafts, but didn't really like give him any kind of attention. I feel his touches increased from week 1 to week 2, 3 turned into 8 for this week. He averaged basically the same as Etienne. I think Etienne averaged 5.1. He averaged 5.3, I believe, yards per carry, and he got a receiving touchdown. That is the point that I want to touch on.
Yeah.
If Tootin is getting the targets in the red zone for a receiving touchdown, that means that they are not really looking at Etienne. They are looking at other ways to score. So you can get rid of Etienne with a good box score for the past 2 weeks, get rid of him, because Tootin is coming in.
Yeah, I agree. The last guy I have on my sell high is Tyreek Hill, who had a good week this week, but the Dolphins are just a dumpster fire.
They're horrible.
And I think I think the only Dolphins player you should keep is Devon Achane, because he's the only player he's their only. I'm not saying that their players aren't good. I'm saying that Tua is not good, and Achane does not necessarily need Tua to succeed. Maybe he plays better with Tua, but it's not to the point where you should trade him because of how Tua is performing. Achane's look great.
I agree.
Tyreek Hill, on the other hand,
has not
so. He looked good this past week because I think
the rage baiting from the reporters has been absolutely hilarious, though.
Oh, also he's like being investigated by the NFL. Who knows how that's going to end? So
this guy,
it's just, I mean,
leaving the Chiefs was the worst decision he could have ever made.
Yeah, I mean, he had 6 receptions, 109 yards this past week. That's an average. That's how he should be based on what he was doing last year. So the fact that Tua is not playing great, he's under investigation. Who knows if he's going to get suspended or not? He's just not the player you want to rely on right now. And if you're able to get at least good value for him now, I'd do that.
Definitely, I agree. All right. Let's go on to matchups. Matchups is pretty important. So I think we're like polar opposites. We picked out some polar opposites.
I agree. Yeah.
You are not going to like hearing this. My QB matchup is the one and only Dak Prescott. They are playing the Bears. And without Jalen Johnson in that Bears secondary, they have been absolutely horrible.
Absolutely.
They have been, I think, what do I have? 43 points a game. Dak Prescott has been having 43 passing attempts in a game. If he can replicate that, 43 is massive.
You're talking about this season, 43
so far. Yes.
I think that I'm not trying to.
It's inflated because because of the Giants. I agree.
Yeah,
but it's definitely inflated. But he's going to be passing the ball like crazy when he sees CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens open in the secondary because nobody's defending them.
Right.
So that's my QB pick. I think he's going to do well.
I don't really have it separated by position, but I just have on my list in all caps Bills players because the Dolphins.
I do agree.
My other roommate Rico, he's a Dolphins fan. He even knows. He's saying, "Oh, take Josh Allen anytime touchdown. Take James Cook anytime touchdown." I said this to Nick before we started recording. I think Bijan Robinson. I think James Cook is going to have the most running back points in fantasy this week. I think James Cook is going to go crazy. I also think Josh Allen's going to go crazy, and I'm not just saying that because I have him in a dynasty league where he only got me 11 points last week and I lost to Landon. I lost to Landon twice this week.
Oh, right, because you played him in both leagues.
All right, let me calm down.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I lost by 9 in that. No, I lost by. Hang on. All right, timeout. I lost by 8. Josh Allen had 11. Derrick Henry had 2. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, Derrick Henry had 2 on how many rushing attempts though? It was
he had, I think, 10 attempts for 23 yards.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I know. They were my 2 highest point scorers the week before. I scored 190 points. Now I score 146, and they. All right. Bills players are going to be good this week.
Yes.
Josh Allen.
Target them.
James Cook. Even as we were talking about before, if you need a fringe tight end, grab one of the Bills tight ends like Nick said.
Kincaid.
I can never remember which one starts and which one doesn't. It's Kincaid. Bills are going to have a good week. They had a good week last week too. It's just the Bills are good.
When I said earlier that some of the guys I'm talking about are on my team, the next 2 are on my team. Jordan Mason and Rome Odunze. Jordan Mason not solely, but he's looked incredible the past 2 weeks, and I'm very happy that I drafted him as a backup because now he's starting to become the starter after Aaron Jones is injured. So
I was going to say, now he has no competition.
Yeah, now he has no competition. And put the icing on the cake, the Bengals have allowed the 3rd most points to running backs in the past 2 weeks.
The Bengals are in shambles right now.
Shambles. No, it's Jake Browning season. They're leading them to a Super Bowl.
He looked good. To be honest.
He did look good. The Romeo Odunze, come on. 32 points this week. He was on my bench, unfortunately. Thank God I still won. But again, Dallas allowing the 5th most points. Their defense is not looking good.
That's once again skewed, though, because of the Giants game. And then they played the Eagles.
It's skewed, but you can't overlook that their secondary is just not good.
Oh, absolutely.
It's skewed, but if you actually look at position by position and who's in their secondary and how they've been performing, not good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and to make it even better, he, I think, is, as of now, the clear wide receiver 1 in Chicago.
Unfortunately.
Which I know you don't like to hear, and I do apologize. But that's what
Debo and DJ Moore are gone. When we record this next week...
Hold on. Well, why don't you couple them?
Because I didn't think about that until about halfway through this podcast when we started talking about Terry McLaurin.
Yo, I'm on...
Mark my words, they will be gone off my team by next week. And I will have a win over him.
No, we're going to come back next Tuesday.
And I have crazy matchups this week. I play you in our league, and then I'm in the Dynasty League, and I play Charlie. Shout out Charlie. I told him I'd give him a shout out. Shout out Charlie. We played the championship last year, and he scored 200 points on me. And we're playing again this week, and it's like
it's a rematch.
We're both projected 160 points. We have
That's crazy.
All right, this is a good thing to talk about on this podcast. I know it's not our matchups. I keep doing this, but you just have to hear about this trade that went down in that Dynasty League yesterday.
Okay.
This is hilarious, and I don't mean to dox. I'll tell Nick off camera who made the trade, but I'm not going to say it on camera because I'm not trying to dox him. He thinks it's a good trade. I get where he's coming from. He needed a running back. But
is this an our league or your Dynasty?
Dynasty. But you know the person. You know most of the people in the Dynasty League. But,
yeah, I do.
So this trade that went down, I was driving. We were going to Chipotle. Yesterday, Chipotle was buy one, get one free if you wear a college football jersey. So we were going to Chipotle, and I'm driving, and I hear Charlie from the back seat go, all day he's been like, tell this guy I want Neighbors, because he had Neighbors on his team. And Charlie's an LSU fan, big Giants fan. Of course he wants Neighbors. And as a joke, I'm like, oh, yeah, he wants Neighbors. And Charlie legitimately would have given him Jamar Chase, who he has on his team. He gets a trade offer. Malik Neighbors for Kenneth Walker and a 2nd-round pick. And we're all like, what? We go, what? And Charlie obviously immediately accepts the trade because it was offered to him. So I text the person, and I'm like, are you insane? And he goes, what do you mean? I was like, why did you do that? And he goes, because I need a running back. And I went, you realize you could have gotten so much more than Kenneth Walker? And he goes, what do you mean, Kenneth Walker? I thought I picked Jonathan Taylor in the trade. He picked the wrong person.
Wait, tell me you're not going to make it go through.
It got vetoed, and it's now Jonathan Taylor in the second for Malik Neighbors.
I was going to say that is ridiculous.
In the Dynasty League, that is not a good trade because Neighbors is so young. But it's, you know what? Jonathan Taylor's a great player. Yeah. I'm not going to. But now I have to play. Let me tell you Charlie's team real quick. Or I'll just tell you his wide receivers that he's starting this week. Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas.
How did he?
All LSU.
Because he draft.
Brian Thomas was the rookie draft last year. It was a whole. So I have to go up against that this week. So there's that.
Good luck.
Thanks. Staying with my Dynasty team because my last two. That light just turned off. My last two. It's dead. I'm just going to start that over. I'm just going to start with the.
It looks fine, by the way.
All right. So, speaking of Dynasty, my last two players on my list are on my Dynasty team. One is Bucky Irving against the Jets. Bucky looked great this week. Even despite Rachaad White, Bucky looked great. I love Bucky. I honestly thought he might have had a decline this year, sophomore year. Like I always talk about that. He is not so far. He's looked great. He's playing the Jets. Do you have anyone else on your list?
I have tight end Juwan Johnson.
Okay.
Dude is averaging 10 targets a game. Like
he's looked great.
For a tight end, that is not unheard of unless you're Travis Kelce in 2021. Yeah. Like that is unheard of. Seattle doesn't have they have an okay defense. They have allowed multiple touchdowns from the tight end position already. So if you aren't starting someone like Tyler Warren or Brock Bowers or someone of that caliber, I'd say Juwan Johnson is a very good fill-in.
So funny enough, my last guy is on Seattle, and it's JSN against the Saints. JSN has looked like one of the best receivers in the league. He's, I think, averaging 10 targets a game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I love JSN. He's one of my favorite players in the league. Yeah, he had 13 targets week one.
Who has him?
In our league? Aiden. He has 13 targets week 1, 10 week 2. So he's averaging 11.5 targets a game. He had over 100 yards in both games. He's looked phenomenal, and he's playing the Saints defense. He's going to torch whoever's on him.
All those points are without a touchdown, by the way.
Yeah, because he's a reception machine. Which I love having him.
And I'm not going to lie, Sam Darnold hasn't looked that bad.
I believe he's top 10 in passing yards in the NFL, maybe?
Yeah, he hasn't really. People
he's looked good.
Giving him. He hasn't looked that bad. I thought he was going to get a regression once he moved to Seattle.
I did too. No, he's looking great. Not fantasy startable great, but he's looking great.
No. But like in terms of the NFL.
Yeah. Is that it for you for the matchups?
I think, that's it.
All right. Well, that's it for our week 2 recap.
I am so excited to come back next week and just, I hope you guys know, if anybody's watching, the rant that will happen from one of us after our matchup this week is going to be.
I think I'd rather get blown out than lose by 1 again. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, if I get blown out by the time we record this on Tuesday night, I will have already accepted my fate. If I lose by 1 point again, this is going to be a Nick only podcast next week. I'm going to refuse to talk about fantasy football. So if you only see Nick next week, you know what happened. So also check out our Instagram. We're starting to post fantasy advice on there. I'm going to link it in the description. Go check it out. We're starting. We're trying. I think the graphics look good this past week.
They do. We're both experimenting with some graphic designer stuff. Yeah. So I'm proud of us.
Yeah, I'm proud of us too. And we're only going to get better with time. So be sure to check the link in the description for that.
Make sure that you're one of the OGs.
Yeah. You got to be. Say you were there. The first
Say
week
you
we
were
posted.
there when it happened.
Yeah. When we're the biggest fantasy football.
When we're on the Pat McAfee show. Thank you, guys. Have a good week, everybody.